Hey everybody, it's the Professional Lovers in Training, Patty and
Al.
And we're here to talk about the Married at First Sight couple cam,
Quarantine style.
quarantine confessions with the couple cam, episode 5. So there were really 3 couples that we keyed in on tonight because the other couples were, having fun,
improvising and
being creative,
mm-hmm.
making movies, being silly, staycations, having babies. Ooh, that brought back memories. Not that I had a home birth, oh no, but just the going through the labor, you feeling a little on the helpless side, like men tend to do, because
you did all that we're going to
they're
do
just
for
in
that particular
they're just
part
in
of it.
support status at that time. And then even with Bobby and Danielle trying to get pregnant, we went through that too.
Mm-hmm.
Took us 4 years to get the one that we have, and so that brought back some memories, but nothing that would pertain to quarantine confessions. Oh yeah, and the dog training. Yeah, that brought back a lot of memories too. We had a dog for 15 years. 15 years. Yeah. And the Jessica and Austin's dog pooping all over the house. No, that would not be us. Yeah. No.
We do think about things a little differently.
Just a tad bit.
Yeah.
Just a tad bit.
Even in comparison to what happened this week, you think differently.
You mean from
the couples, yeah.
Yeah. So the 3 that we wanted to key in on are Keith and Christine, mm-hmm. and Beth and Jamie, mm-hmm. and Jeff D and particularly what's his what? Shanice. Yeah, Shanice. And I want to start with her because she was talking to her mom. Mm-hmm. She had expressed a fear about her daughter not listening to her. And then it went into a conversation of, she asked a question. How does a woman work 40 hours a week, come home, cook, clean, baby, parent, mm-hmm. and all of that? And of course, mom was like, oh, you just go in her closet with a glass of wine and ask Lord, why me? Now, it's funny because when the first night we brought Deuce home from the hospital, now, all in the hospital, he had been, sleeping and quiet. Eat, sleep, quiet. Eat, sleep, quiet, right? And the minute we got home, he screamed his head off all night long. My mom, we were staying with them then because we had just relocated to where we live. Well, yeah, about 3 months prior, so we hadn't gotten our own place yet.
It wasn't even 3 months.
No, well, we came in August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. So, because he was born in October. So, thankfully, we were still living with them because my mom took Deuce and walked him all night long. And I remember clearly sitting on the bed saying, what made me think I could do this? What the heck was I thinking? I cannot do this. So when Shanice says, how do you do this? And when Deuce is about, he was, I don't know if he was 2 yet, he was walking. And I remember having that kind of a question, but mine was a meltdown. It was a Friday afternoon. I was home with Deuce. You had not gotten home yet. I was trying to cook. He was pulling stuff out the cabinet. The food ended up burning. I had to go make an errand. So when you walked in the door, I just walked out.
don't quite remember that, but
And I remember thinking something's got to give because I cannot take care of him in the morning, work through the day because I was teaching, pick him up, deal with him, and try to cook and try to, do laundry or whatever because he's underfoot. It's just the two of us. Al's still at work. Al doesn't come home till 6 o'clock. And then it's bedtime routine. I was like, I cannot do all of this. So when Shanice said, how do you? Man, it brought back so many memories. Because that was the day that I had to make a switch. And I had to do two things. One, I had to ask him to help me.
Tap into the resources. Again, I mean, assuming that everything is fine. Again, guys come into the house, everything's fine. We have no idea of what transpired throughout the whole day. And when we come home, we observe what we observe. But seeing bits and pieces in an abstract time, seeing the exhaustion, I think that there should be an open line of communication to say, I need help. I need, whatever it is that's needed, even if it is time in the closet with half a bottle of wine, whatever the case may be. But it needs to be expressed because, again, guys can't read minds. And it's not to say that we wouldn't
read minds.
We wouldn't help. But when it comes to nurturing, y'all are just more observant.
Well, that's the key. It's observance.
Yeah. And what we observe is that, well, you making it
got
work.
it all done.
You're making it work.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't fault them for not being observant. And I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
You don't make an assumption that they can observe and see that something's,
that they know what to do.
That it's overwhelming. So, ladies with children who are working outside the home as well as inside the home, you must ask for help.
Definitely.
And so I gave him the evening routine.
Because I stay up anyway.
And but even with that, I mean, the bath, the bath time,
mm-hmm.
Dressing for bed,
right.
The brushing the teeth, the story time, mm-hmm. and then us putting him to bed. But
right.
The evening routine became yours, and then we split the weekend. So we go to church on Saturday, so one person was going to get up with him on Saturday in the morning, the other person kind of sleep in until you have to get up, and then on Sunday the other person who's we switch, and the other person who slept in Saturday a little bit would get up on Sunday. So that way each of us had a weekend morning that we could sleep in.
And you put an effort, a concerted effort, into being a partnership,
right.
where you share the responsibilities, and you reap the benefits by understanding what the process is, but also the other side of your wife not being so overwhelmed and fatigued and distant, or however it is that she would have to regroup within herself, and you end up paying a price for it, not realizing why. But it's mainly because starting off with a lack of communication in expressing what the need is and then sharing the responsibility.
Right. The second thing I did was I had to reorder my day. And this is what turned me into an early morning riser. I figured since Al had to be at work at 8, I didn't have class till 10, so the morning routine was mine for getting both Deuce and me out of the door on time. So and coming home at 3:00, 3:30, again, it's me because he didn't get off of work till 5:30, so it's me and Deuce. I did not want to try to be doing stuff with him needing to be occupied. So, because at 1, 2, 3 years old, he needs to be occupied. So, I became an early morning riser. So I would get up at 5:00 when the two of them were still asleep, and I would cook dinner, or I would start laundry after having my personal devotion. And that way, I had things done by the time they got up at 6:00, 7:00 to start our morning routine. So when I came home, I was spending that time with Deuce. Mm-hmm. And dinner's already done. All we have to do is warm it up. So I'm not trying to cook and occupy him or make sure he's not tearing up stuff. He and I were spending that time together with books or videos, bonding, or game learning, puzzles, or whatever the case may be. But it decreased my stress by doing things in the morning that would allow me to be relaxed and comfortable when I got home. Now, that was my schedule because as a teacher, I'm not having to work all day. And I actually chose a teaching profession after working in regular corporate America for a while, with the thought that when I had children, a teacher's schedule would allow me the flexibility to spend time with my child. Confession, I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That's just that just didn't work for me. At the same time, I wanted to be able to be home sometimes in the day. That flexibility to not have a 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 schedule. Right. And so that really worked for me. So the key is that you have to find your realistic balance, good word, in creating a partnership with your significant other in helping with parenting responsibility, household responsibility, all of that. Cooking, if that works. Now for us, I'm the primary cook. He can do a few things. And when he does those, it's great. But for the most part, the cookie's my responsibility.
She does it well.
And, and the times that I'm tired of cooking, we eat out. So depending on your budget, like ours, we're a little tight. Because I'm a self-employed business owner now. So we don't do that a whole lot. And besides, it's not as healthy when you go out. And then right now with the quarantine, we're not going out. No, where we live, the restaurants are open. I'm just not feeling comfortable doing that. So we will do takeout and bring it in home and eat it here. But the key is partnership, finding out the best way for you to work so that you are not stressed out, and that you're being able to spend quality time with your child or your children while at the same time, taking care of the house when you can, as much as you can, and then give yourself a break. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now our common areas, we try to keep those looking decent. The kitchen, the den, the living room, dining room area, because that's at the front of the house. And, when people come over, you want it looking decent. The back, we cannot account for. It will look decent sometimes and sometimes it doesn't.
That's in her mind. But I understand.
In my
it
mind,
can be messy.
Yeah.
It's not dirty. It's just messy.
Right. It's junky. That's
Messy.
Yeah, junky. Anyway, so that's that. Jamie and Beth vying for what to do with that second bedroom. It was kind of odd to me because we have an extra bedroom. We have 3 bedrooms, and Deuce had 2 of them at one time. He used one for a bedroom, and then one is kind of a playroom, and then the master bedroom. So now that he's, older and doesn't need a separate playroom, we were talking about turning it into an office bedroom, because when you have company that comes and needs a place to stay or whatever, we want to be able to accommodate that. But I needed an office, and so I couldn't understand why it either had to be a bedroom or an office. Why can't it be both?
True.
Not sure if they...
Murphy beds are wonderful.
Murphy beds, and pull-out beds. I mean, we have a couch in the room that serves as a pull-out bed. Yeah. But that way, it serves both. So I couldn't understand why they couldn't come to that conclusion.
Oh, I mean, not everybody thinks compromise, to accommodate both in some shape, form, or fashion. And that's what it takes at times, just to think outside the box, not always just what you want or what you desire, and I mean, and not to be chauvinistic in any way, but they were looking for a space because he was feeling a little awkward having to work in the living room, and, Beth interfering pretty frequently because she's not working and she needs interaction or whatever the case may be. Why couldn't it just be his office, his way of taking care of what it is he needs to take care of? No. What I'm saying is he needed a designated space. Not to say that it needed to be his space, but he needed a designated space to conduct his work.
And that's why...
And not to be interfered with.
It could have been an office bedroom.
Right. No, it should be an office bedroom.
Yeah.
It should be. But in thinking that, I guess I can't understand why she wouldn't even have that concept.
Yeah.
What do you need another bedroom for? I mean, you get to sleep in one.
Yeah, because, they're all the way in California. We don't know if they have family out there, but they didn't say that they did. So how many people are actually coming by to spend the night? Yeah. So, yeah. Now, what I've had to do, though, with my new office bedroom, which he decided to turn into a Netflix room, movie room, and then he started calling it his man cave. And I'm like,
just to get the rise.
No, it's my office.
Have you worked in it yet?
Have you been working in it yourself?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I can be working where you're working.
You've never said that. No, you haven't.
If it's your office, because that's why we made it.
But you automatically parked yourself in there.
Because you kept going to your same space.
I'm just saying. All of a sudden, it was his man cave.
Somebody need to claim it. We did what we needed to do with it to make it an office.
So, it's an office bedroom that he claims as a man cave at the moment.
I work in it too.
So.
But it is a man cave.
We'll be finishing this discussion off camera. Anyway.
Man cave.
The last couple, Keith and Christine. She is a boss, though, when it comes to renovating. Now, we've been doing renovating too, but he's the one that's been doing it for the most part at the moment. She is very good. I was very impressed.
She can go into business. We can go into business.
She was measuring wood and all that kind of stuff.
Using power tools and the whole bit.
Exactly.
Buttering tile, and which we have done together.
We have done, yes. We tiled our house.
But she won't mess with no power tools.
Well, that's not because I won't. When have you asked me to?
Well, if I can do it, I'll just do it.
There you go. So there's been no reason for me to mess with power tools, but not that I wouldn't.
There's somebody in their household that can't.
So, yeah. Keith is not extremely
He's
handy.
He's not the most handy guy.
And so when he came in after she and her dad were tiling the floor, and he had a little tube because he wanted to help,
to be involved.
But he's working, and his schedule wasn't allowing him to be involved, and she on the other hand is not working, and so like good. Why not I just fall in and do this and not worry you with this, and to be doing all of that by yourself, understanding that he can't do it because of his job. He can't. This is nothing under their control.
True.
So she is missing his participation. True. She doesn't necessarily want to do it all by herself.
Right.
But she is doing it all by herself and doing a good job.
Right.
But then bringing her dad in because he had the day off. Well, I know we talked about the two of us doing it together, but you can't. He's available right now. Why not I just get it done with him?
Now, two sides to both things. I can understand where she could have just mentioned it to him, saying that this is what we're going to do because, again, it needs to get done. I have the time. Dad's available. He's off. We're just going to go ahead and knock it out. Didn't happen. So when he comes home, he's a little despondent because evidently the discussion was that he was supposed to take part in doing the tile.
Yeah. He had a little design or something he wanted to do.
Yeah, well, whatever. But he didn't get an opportunity to take part in that. And he kind of got a little attitude. Now, the remark of, I'm tired, but who cares? To me, that was a little salty for the simple fact that, in my opinion, she's probably a little more handy than he is.
At least from what we've seen.
And he was feeling a little inadequate, and maybe feeling pushed aside. Since you can't really do this, we'll just go ahead and handle it while you're gone. I don't think that was the case. I think it was more so that being that the time permitted it being taken care of, as opposed to the kitchen just remaining in disarray until you have the time. Because again, he's a service worker. He's dealing with COVID and all of that, and extra hours. I mean, everybody knows what the stories are across the country. So I don't understand why he didn't necessarily see where it was just a convenient situation, because ultimately he's benefiting from it.
Because there's a little ego involved.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Maybe.
A little bit.
I think it was more insecurity as opposed to ego.
But I mean that I see that as kind of connected. When I say ego, it means I'm feeling less than, whether it's pushed aside or I'm not really that good at it, but I did want to participate. He came in and took my space. Any of that has to do with insecurity, which to me has to do with
ego.
Little ego.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, and so of course then his attitude and saltiness, he didn't raise his voice, but you could tell it was there. Yeah. She felt some kind of way after she'd been doing all that work, and the fact is, I can't work. I want to work and I can't work.
So she's doing what she can.
Exactly. And feeling very not appreciated.
Yeah, because his girlfriend got talent. I mean, I put her on your level.
Ooh. And I don't even use power tools yet.
Yeah, but you got design ability.
So, I'm sure that they will work through that. But, the key is, you really have to try to think outside of your feelings. Get outside of yourself.
True.
And look at the situation for what it is. And, even if he said, oh, man, I really wanted to help you guys or whatever. But he was tired. Yeah. He'd been working long. He wasn't thinking like that. True. But, it's hard to not take certain things personally, especially if you've talked about it, and especially when you're overworked and tired.
Yeah.
So Keith will give you a pass, but that could have been handled.
For the most part, that is out of character from what we've seen of him. But again, communication. It could have been initiated, on her part, but it also could have been dealt with a little differently on his part. So, again, communication is critical.
It's critical.
And you have to sometimes, often, be other-centered and think about how it affects the other individual. Understanding you're trying to do it for both of you, but how will that affect the other individual, especially if it's something that would take a totally different perspective if it were done together.
Righto. So when he's ready to tile the bathroom, which is the reno that we've been doing, or he's been doing since COVID. Tore it down to the studs, and now getting ready to kind of put it back together. But when he's ready to tile, I'll be right there, tiling with him, making sure that those designs are good.
Of course, she's already
in that little bitty space.
But it's gonna be cute.
It's gonna be cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's it for tonight. Next week, Keith will get it together. He's gonna make her feel special, and we'll have more to talk about, hopefully.
And we'll hope the baby turns pink.
Yeah, that was scary. That baby was very blue.
Yeah.
But we know it's gonna turn out okay.
Yeah.
They would not have put that on camera had it not turned out okay. But more things to look forward to next week.
Exactly.
Until then, you guys stay safe. Because even though a lot of our states have loosened restrictions,
a little prematurely,
COVID cases are ticking up in many areas, ours being one of them. So regardless of what, your states are doing, it's your responsibility to take care of yourself and your families. So be safe.
Enjoy.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Peace.